Welcome to episode 9 of Cook It and Book It, presented by Ball's Life. My name is Sara Jane and this is Looch. What's popping today on this wonderful Friday?
What's up? What's up? Not much. Weather's fantastic now. Looking great.
Looking
I'm
pretty good
happy. I've
today.
got a busy weekend ahead, but it's yeah, honestly, ready to rock and roll. Excited to get these podcasts going a couple times a week.
Yep, being a little bit more consistent now.
Yeah. I'm excited. How about you? What are you up to today?
I do apologize. I think I told you this before we got on air. My tonsil's a little swollen.
Yeah.
So if you can't hear what I'm saying, just Celtics and 6.
So,
We'll just leave it at
we'll
that.
leave it at that. That works for me. That works for me.
All right, we're gonna get right into it. I'm not gonna lie. I did not have the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics on my bingo card to go to the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Last night, what a performance by Dallas, obliterating the Timberwolves 124-103. Luka Doncic had the game of his life, really, in that first quarter.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, 20 in the first quarter. Honestly, I know they were up by it wasn't like a huge lead, but you just know if somebody's putting up 20 in the first quarter, you're in trouble.
It's over.
It's over. Yeah, your best player I think he missed one shot in the whole quarter. Yeah, he was not. It was over at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. And then you see Luka kind of swearing in Slovenia and getting all, you know it's going to be enough.
Oh, yeah, you're dead. He was chirping the fans. Oh,
it was. Oh, God, I love it.
Yeah, I love it. It's
a great
game.
So, yeah, if you want to show everyone you're bored, you had Mavs in 6. They won in 5, 4-1. I did not see that coming. I thought the Timberwolves had a little bit more juice, but
I was hoping the T-Wolves won one more game so I could just say I called Mavs in 6 again. Just hoping. But I'll take 5. I did have Dallas. I did. So we're riding with Dallas all the way. Why not? We're here already.
Yeah. And you know what? I think the first couple of games, they kept it kind of fairly close. He had 18 points over the first 2 games, but it was really that last game or last 2 games. And, by the second quarter, they just kind of took off. So congrats to you, Looch. I had the Timberwolves. Just saying. There goes my futures bet.
Oh yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You can get it back with the Celtics. But yeah, I hit. They were slight underdogs.
Yeah.
The odds have been pretty good for them along the way. Versus the Clippers, they were good. They've had some pretty solid odds against the way. Now it's kind of an uphill battle here, but you never know.
Did you bet on any of these guys? Player props?
Player props last night. I just did Luka over 29.5. That's about it.
Which is crazy because he's hit that, I think, 4 out of the 5 games.
Yeah.
It's kind of automatic.
Yeah. It seemed like it in a potential elimination game. I figured, why not? Somebody that's hit that well, he's gonna get the ball in his hands. And I did Mavs series just to win the series at the beginning of the series. So it was plus.
What'd you get that for?
Plus 125.
Oh, okay. So you got that at plus money.
Yeah, and then Luka last night was -1. It's a little. I think it was -130 or -128. So hit that last night. So we're looking good. It's a good Friday so far.
I just want to say though, and I've been saying this, Looch, Daniel Gafford. One moment, I love the guy.
He's hooked us. I know.
He hooked us back. Yeah, he had a block. He had 3 blocks. I mean, he hit it 3 out of the 4 times.
Yeah.
He's got to hit it. He had 1 block going in a halftime.
Yeah.
And then just an abomination.
Nothing. I know our GOAT. On Pickett how you could see how you perform with that player's props. Daniel Gafford's in my top 5. He is.
I love the guy.
I have my number 1 is this guy in hockey, Gustav Nyquist. I think I'm 14-1.
Oh, that guy. I tell you all the time. Yeah.
14-1 with him. I think Gafford was 11-3 for Gafford props. He's just the king, except for last night. King? We're gonna forget about last night, but.
Well, anyway, so they're gonna play the Boston Celtics. If you did not know, I saw this cool stat. I think on ESPN, Kyrie and Luka are the only duo in the NBA history to both record 30 points in a game to advance to the finals. The only 3 to do it is Kobe and Shaq in 2002.
Damn.
Irving and LeBron James in 2016.
Wow.
So I think the key there is Kyrie Irving.
Yeah. He's just honestly, I even saw a crazy stat in elimination games prior to the series. He was 14-0 in closeout games. So when he gets there, now, okay, obviously he's 15-1 now because they lost one, but like when it gets to it and he needs to close the series, he's there. He just performs. Now I'm interesting to see, obviously Boston hates him. I want to see how in the I can't believe like in the finals, I want to see how loud the building gets when he touches the ball. It is going to be wild.
It's going to be electric.
It's going to be electric.
And that's kind of going to be the narrative, right? Like Kyrie, Celtics. But you know what? The Mavericks are a really, really good team. And shout out to them for getting their post All-Star trades. But, you know, there's a lot of irony in this. You know, Jason Kidd is the head coach 13 years later and was part of that championship team. You have Kyrie Irving, who played for the Celtics, now for the Mavericks. And then we had Kristaps Porzingis, who played for the Mavericks, who's now on the Celtics, who, by the way, should be ready for game 1.
I heard that. You know what? It's good that they have this rest too. They ended this Pacers early. Everyone gets your rest.
Well, I was hoping for a little bit longer, but
they're
gonna have a lot of rest. 7 days, 6 days.
A lot of rest for both teams. I'm glad. You know what? I'm glad Porzingis is playing because you hate to be in a finals where somebody's shorthanded, and there's always like not an excuse, but like but we were missing this guy. I hope everybody's healthy. Lively played last night. Luka, I know, was a little hobbled, but for him, I guess it doesn't. He's just an
he had like some blood on his knee while he was like holding up the trophy, but he'll be all right.
He'll be fine.
Everyone's banged up this time.
Everyone at this time of the season, you're battling through whatever. You would need to have a serious injury to stay off the court in the finals, especially. But
and I think it will be great. I mean, we'll get more into it, but I think with Porzingis, I mean, this will be the story of the backcourt. It will. It's not going to be about the front court. I mean, as much as Dallas says, okay, well, Gafford's got size. He's only like 6'10", 6'11".
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, I think the X factors will be the front court here, and obviously Luka and Kyrie, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But for the odds, if you're betting on the finals and you want to get it in quick, and now that sounded terrible. The Celtics are favored at 220 to win the series, which is a little juice in my opinion, but you can still get some value off of that. It's going to change.
It'll definitely change. Yeah, it'll definitely change.
And the Mavericks are plus 184.
Yeah.
And the Celtics are 6.5 point favorites. Money line is 260 for game 1, under over 214.5.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty fair. I mean, that's probably one of the lowest spreads I've seen for Boston all playoffs.
Especially at Boston at home. Yeah, I don't think this playoffs I've seen anything less than like 8.5. Like I've seen even in the Pacers.
I like that.
10.5. 10.5 for the Pacers they had. It was 11.5. Like this. I think this is the lowest spread Boston's had any game the entire postseason.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, you look at Miami, you look at Cleveland, they were like 12, 13, 14.
I didn't see anything close to this.
No, but here's the thing about, you know, obviously Dallas is going to play Boston hard. They're going to give them everything they got. And most of the people that I have are saying Mavs in 6. But if you look at Boston, they've covered, and I believe, did they sweep this season 3-0? But they covered the 3.5, the 2.5 point spread, and the 8.5 point spread. Obviously, they have a very, very different team than last game. But I like that 6.5 value. I may grab that.
Honestly, it's not bad. I do think the Celtics come out hot especially on home court. They're tough to beat on home court, but I think the key
maybe not in the playoffs.
Maybe not. I think Dallas's keys to win this series though is they have to steal. I honestly think they have to steal 2 away from Celtics in home court. It's going to be difficult.
They're going to have to.
They're going to like. I know that seems like the obvious answer, but it's already hard enough to beat the Celtics 1 or 2 games in a 7-game series. Like to beat them in 4, they have to just come out. They have to have a game like they did last game. Really, like every game this series, and they gotta be on it. Kyrie and Luka got to put up 25 plus. Because you know the Celtics down low, they're just great. They're good. They're the better team on paper. But now
it's all about how you play. It's how you match up.
It's how you match up. Yeah, it's the finals. It's just if you match up well, you exploit the matchups. You never know. You never know in this series.
Yeah, we'll take a deep dive into we're gonna have an NBA Finals special this week. But much of what you were telling me before we got on air, If you're going to pick the Celtics at 220 or the Mavericks at plus 184, there is some great value for the MVPs right now.
Yes.
I know Jason Tatum's at minus 120, but as you were saying, Jaylen Brown for MVP at plus 600. If you didn't know, he was the Eastern Conference MVP. That you could sprinkle a little bit on that. That is great value. Or even Luka at plus 210.
To be honest, I was gonna do both of them, like a little sprinkle on each, like half a unit on each, because as Tatum is, as the series, I think, gets further in, like 5, 6, 7, I definitely think they're going to rely on him more because it's their guy. You got to,
of course.
If you're going to go down, if the ship's going to sink, you got to go down with knowing that you gave it to your best player. That's just
you gave it,
you gave it to your guy. Like same with Luka. Like if they're down in the series, you're going to give it to your guy. But I do like the sprinkle on Jaylen Brown. I mean, him and Tatum had similar numbers in the Eastern Conference Finals, but for plus 600,
Brown was more clutch.
Yeah,
especially
he was more
down that last
Brown. I thought he deserved it. I definitely do. But for the huge gap, the plus 600 difference, I'll definitely take Jaylen Brown.
It's definitely worth the value, something to look at, because that's going to change.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Especially as we go along.
I do like that. I like that.
So you just real quick, we're going to take a deep dive, but our initial right now, you are taking Mavs in.
I have to go 6. I have no. You know what? This board, I'm gonna have to keep referencing it. I have to. I'm not gonna take them. I'm not gonna bet in 6. I'm gonna just have to take the Mavs straight. We're gonna have to duel it out this week.
You better bet on it. You gotta bet.
Actually, you know what? I have to sprinkle something. I can't have a board
and
do nothing about it.
The value's too good not to.
It is incredible, but I'm probably gonna take the We're gonna have to duel it out for 2 weeks.
How about this? Because you guys know who I got.
Yeah.
Obviously, I got Celtics in 6.
I have a Luka jersey.
I will say I will buy like a Luka jersey if they lose, and I'll wear it the stream after.
You know what? I have one. Yeah. I have a Luka jersey. I might have to send it. I might have to send it there, and you have to wear it for the podcast.
Handshake.
Virtual handshake. I like it.
I'm serious.
I like it. I like how we're gonna go against each other. It'll be a couple podcasts all throughout the week. A lot of cover. It starts on the 6th, right?
It starts on the 6th, correct?
Sweet.
So
sweet. Do you know if there's a 3-day break in between, like the travel days, like, or you're not sure yet?
So yes, I'll pull it up real quick. So for the Mavericks, if you guys did not know, they won their last championship in 2011 for the Boston Celtics. 2008.
Wow.
I was getting ready to go to college.
Damn.
That's how long that was. I just graduated high school.
2008.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I do see this.
So game 1 is June 6th. It's on a Thursday. Game 2 will be June 9th. So you got a little 3-day break there, both in Boston. Games 3 and 4 will be in Dallas. So that'll be the 12th and the 14th. So it looks like every 2 to 3 days.
Every 2 to 3 days.
And then they have a 3-day break if necessary, back to Boston on the 17th, then a 3-day break on June 20th. And then June 23rd would be game 7 in Boston.
Okay. So a lot of 3-day breaks. So you know what? I like that because it's true. At this point of the season, they're banged up. The extra day for each team will make sure the finals and it builds the suspense.
It does.
I like the suspenseful building, especially for game 5, 6, 7, like the 3 days. Like you could hype it up in the media and all that stuff. It's fun.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
The only thing I'm gonna say is I don't ever remember the finals going till the end of June.
Yeah, that seems long. I was gonna say that seemed long, but
it's long. It's a long
season. I'm sure these guys.
It's a long season. We'll talk about that at a later. But
yeah. That's long. But
all right, so that's a little bit of NBA. If you want to get your bets in, just get them in now. There's some great values there, as we talked about. But moving on to the WNBA, we're going to talk about some prop bets today. Keep it a little short. One thing I do want to talk about, there's some breaking news and WNBA. Breanna Stewart of the New York Liberty and Napheesa Collier of the Minnesota Lynx both played for UConn. They have created a new league called Unrivaled. It's exciting. It's set to debut January 2025. And it's going to take 30 players, and it gives them an opportunity, instead of going overseas to say stateside, and make 6 figures. And I'm not sure if it's going to be a FIBA 3-on-3. I have to check with that, but they had 1.2 billion impressions on launch day on X, and it will be the highest average salary in women's professional sports league history.
That's awesome. That is cool. And you know what? The one factor, and I'm sure the women that were there all agreed on was that going overseas, especially if you have a family, you just started a family, it's awful. I leave my daughter for one day and I'm like, oh hell no. Like, and I'm not even you know what I mean? Like, I'm not
I do that with my pets. I can't imagine kids.
Kids, imagine going overseas. You're going to Greece. You're going to like, that's tough.
It's really tough.
That's tough. It's tough on them. And I'm glad
it's year round.
It's tough. It's tough. I'm glad this is happening.
Yeah, and much to what you're saying, like Collier and Breanna Stewart, they're both mothers.
Exactly.
You know, Breanna's got 2 little ones now, and they both have little ones. So, you know, maybe it will target mothers or people that don't want to go stateside or do have, you know, don't maybe have the families or don't have the desire to go over there and play a, you know, like Jonquel Jones. She goes over there and plays a grueling season and comes back and has to do a whole, you know, there's a lot of these players that do that, but.
You know what? That might be a good target audience. The people that have kids.
Yeah.
Or maybe the veterans, just to kind of, you know, make their money at home. Whereas maybe the young players kind of, I don't know. I don't know how do you know how they're going to select the 30 or have they already been invited or you're not sure yet?
So I watched Good Morning America the other day with Breanna Stewart, and she said it's going to be the best of the best, and she couldn't say much. I was just in a Zoom interview with Ryan Rucco and Rebecca Lobo of ESPN, and Rebecca Lobo, you know, they're excited about it. She's excited to see what it's more about. She did mention would it have the FIBA 3x3 kind of Olympic format, which is kind of unclear, and that would be amazing because it's very high, you know,
high pace.
3-on-3 is very high pace. Stewie did say the court is going to be, I think, a little bit smaller, but it's still going to be full court 3-on-3.
Cool.
So it's not going to be your 90. It's probably going to be like 60.
That's fine.
So I love 3-on-3 basketball.
It's fun.
I love it.
Yeah. I like the small courts because like 90, the long courts with 3-on-3, it's exhausting.
I think it's going to be around 60, she said, but I don't think there's too many details in who they're going to invite. But she did insinuate it's going to be like the best of the best. So
sweet.
30 players over 6 figures. That's all I know.
Ooh. That's cool. I love that. Bring more eyes to the sport, especially because like realistically, there's no overseas women's coverage, like in North America. Like unless I've missed it, you really got to dig deep.
Gotta dig deep.
So if it gets like, you know, media coverage, it's on, you know, ESPN, it's on CBC, whatever it's on. That's a win for the sport.
It absolutely is.
Win for women's basketball. I like that. That's great.
Yeah. So in other news, we have 4 games on the WNBA slate today. The Aces at the Atlanta Dream, the Wings at the Sun, Mystics at Liberty, and Mercury at Minnesota Lynx.
Yes.
We're going to talk a little bit about prop bets. I have a few today.
Sure.
So let's get to that. And what I do last night I hit all of my props. Naneka came out of the game because the Storm, by the way, we grabbed that -3.
-3 late. And you called it because in the morning it was -5.5. You called it exactly.
Yeah, that line changed.
Yeah, you called it exactly. So well done. Well, they covered everything, but well done.
Well, Noelle Quinn took Naneka out, and she got 17 points. I had the 19.5. I sprinkled a double-double, and they were just killing the fever, honestly.
Yeah.
So, it's all good, but our other bets hit. Caitlin Clark, I think points and rebounds hit. Seattle -3. We had a couple really good hits yesterday.
A couple great ones. What do you got? What do you got today?
All right. So you guys made like every single time I do this, I set myself up for failure. I have the Washington Mystics -15.5. I'm not sure if that line is still 15.5. I think it might have gone down to 13.5 or 14.5.
I think I saw it with just that. It's been hovering 14.5 and 15. So it's about there.
Listen, I got a lot of love for Eric Tebow, and obviously I love Leah Edwards over there, and UConn fan, but the Mystics are 0-7. Okay. Yes, the Liberty are 5-2, but they're kind of not a great 5-2, and they're 1-6 against the spread this season. I think in the WNBA, and cut me off if I'm going on a rant here, Looch.
No, you do your thing.
Teams are proving they can hang in. I don't think it's just going to be like the Aces and the Liberty this year. A lot of the talent has been spread around.
Yes.
Even for these terrible teams. And, regardless of who's injured or not, like teams are, they're banging at the door besides last night's game with Seattle and Indiana. Sure, the Mystics will be without Brittany Sykes, will be that would be a huge loss for their backcourt. But Shakira Austin, I believe, is probable for tonight's game, so they should get an upgrade in the front court. But if you look at the Liberty and the Mystics, and this goes back to last season, Eric Thibault, he obviously has had a vastly different squad this year than last year. But let's face it. Did you watch game 1?
Yeah, it was only 5 points.
The season opener?
Yeah.
It was a 5-point difference, and the Liberty were favored by 11.5.
Yeah.
So you end up going as 11.5. You lose that. You end up winning by 5. And, they held the Liberty to under 30% again from 3-point shooting. So I know the Mystics have the worst offensive rating in the league. I understand they don't even average like 74 points per game.
Yeah.
But the Liberty looked disheveled on offense. Sabrina Ionescu is looking great. She's changing her game, but I almost feel like Sandy Brondello is giving her the green light to have like 16, 17, 18 shots a night.
Yeah. And
the second unit just isn't fully gelling. So I think it's too early in this season for them to be favored by this much, in my opinion. They've lost every single big spread this year, and that's the New York Liberty. They lost 11.5 to Washington, 13 to Indiana. These are all not very good teams. They lost 14 to Seattle, 16.5 to Chicago, and 14 to Phoenix. So the only game Washington really got blown out, I think, was by Seattle.
Yeah.
So, the question tonight is going to be, can the Liberty shoot? Can they hit their shots? That's really going to be the question. That was really the difference between a lot of these games.
Yeah.
So, the Mystics do struggle, but like I said, I like them to cover. They're 3-3-1 against the spread this season, and I put a unit on that.
Nice. So Mystics plus 15.5. I like it. I like it a lot. I honestly
and watch the Liberty just blow them out
by
what? Like 20.
We're cheering for the Liberty, but by 15 or less, they could win. That's all you got to do. Keep it close. Keep it close,
well,
ladies.
14.5. So that tells me somebody is out or something.
Maybe Austin's playing, like confirmed. Maybe?
She has to be confirmed playing.
Yeah, probably.
But she was probable last night.
Yeah, so maybe they gave her the green light and she's good to go now. Okay, good. 15.5. I like it. I like it. Anything else you like?
Or you had that too, right?
I did. So I like it. I really like it because they're winning but not blowing people out. Like you said, 1-6 against the spread. I like the Mystics. They give them a lot of points. I thought it was going to be less. I saw 14.5, 15. I was like, oh damn! Like it's true. The W's been more competitive this year. It's not the Aces winning by 40 every night, Liberty winning by 30 every night. Like it's been good. It's been very competitive.
I do think as the season goes on, we're going to see a trend in spreads. I think they're going to open up a little bit more. But at the beginning of the season, you got to remember a lot of these teams are just building chemistry or their second unit. I know for Sandy Brondello and the Liberty, their second unit looks vastly different than last season. Steph Dolson's now on the Washington Mystics. So I just think it's too early to have a 15, 16 point spread, especially against a team that played you pretty hard in week 1.
I agree. I'm going to share one prop that I have. It's probably goes against all like matchups, which I'm usually pretty heavy on matchup based. But this one, I love it just for a few reasons, and I'll explain. So I have Arike Agombawale over 23.5 points. She's a baller.
I almost hit the under for that, but then
she's my favorite player in the WNBA, and I'll tell you why. The Sun are incredible defensively. Defensive metrics, they're great. I totally get it.
That's what was stopping me.
Yeah, so usually 9 times out of 10 it stops me. So, but for Arike, for me it's sheer volume. They're very injured. She's been averaging over 27.5 attempts, field goal attempts per game.
Yeah, that's crazy. And 28.8 leads the league. Crazy
amount of volume.
She's a bucket.
She's a bucket. I saw her 3 attempts were over 8.5 a game.
Yes,
Crazy. Now, do the Sun allow the least amount of threes? Yes. Do they allow the least amount of points? Yes. I just think her line the last 4 or 5 games have been 24, 25, 26.5.
It's kind of disrespectful because that's like way lower than her average.
Yeah.
What is the value on that?
It's minus 120.
I mean,
like it's like Steph. Not like I'm not comparing her to Steph Curry, but when you see Steph Curry's line, when you see Steph Curry every night, 28.5, 29.5, 30.5, they could play the Celtics and all of a sudden it's 26.5. I'm like, he's still Steph Curry, at the end of the day, he's still going to get his shots. I like this purely based on volume and injuries, and I just love her. 23.5 just seems a little.
Natasha Howard out.
Yeah. So if it was 24, 25.5, maybe I'd stay away, but 23.5.
That line probably will change, right? I
so.
feel like that might move to 24.5.
I think so. So I caught this last night, 23.5. So like I said,
that's funny. I almost had the under, but I love your points about the shot volume and her minutes too.
Minutes, yeah, 37.5. It's huge minutes, huge volume. So if she doesn't hit this, it'll definitely be just because the Sun are just so good defensively. Like, really, they limited her shots, and just, it is what it is. She's going to shoot. Shooters shoot. I'm going with
shooters are going to shoot.
But
you know what I think of? You know what I think of, Looch, is that first game with the Indiana Fever and Dejanay Carrington. I mean, a lot of people don't watch her, but she's good defensively, and she's going to put it all out on the table. So I'm like, she's probably going to be on Arike.
She's probably going to be. I'm not. Is this my favorite pick of all time? No, this is just a volume.
Value.
Yeah, value is good.
I like
volume
the value.
Is good.
Great value.
I almost took like Kayla McBride too, but just because she's a bucket.
I almost took her too, but
I ignored it.
That's so funny that you and I are literally in the same wavelength today. It's crazy.
I like that. So that's my first pick of the day.
I love that.
What else you got today?
All right, for my first prop, I've been kind of riding this for this season. May not be the most popular prop, but I like Alicia Clark of the Las Vegas Aces over 7.5 points. I got it for -120 on FanDuel. She's hit this 70% in the last 10 games. She has been, a force for this Aces team, and we saw it last year when Candace Parker went out and she was kind of a starter over there. Yes, it's only hit in 2 out of 7 games against Atlanta, but she's seeing a lot more action in this team, and I'm going to take advantage of this, especially with Chelsea Gray out. Yes. By the way, if you did not hear, the Las Vegas Aces did sign Tiffany Hayes.
I did. I saw from free agency. She retired last year, right?
Who announced her free agency. Yep, with the Connecticut Sun. Yeah. So that might affect. I'm not sure how she's going to fit in Becky Hammond's rotation, especially defensively. But Alicia Clark, is seeing a lot more volume there. And her 3-point percentage has steadily been increasing. And I do think this line is a little disrespectful, much to your Arike.
Yeah, it's 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5. Especially because she's averaging, I think, 8.5 points per game. So it's still lower at -120. So I'm going to take it.
I like it.
So with Clark, she's playing great minutes, 31.8. It's the most of her career since 2012.
Wow.
So that's to be a testament of how much Hammond trusts her.
Yeah.
And she's shooting 50%. All right, on field goal and 36.4 on 3-point attempts.
Wow.
So she's playing a lot of minutes. The shot volume is there, and she doesn't get a lot of shots. I mean, I think for volume, I think 6 for her is good.
Yeah, for her, that's solid. Yeah.
But averaging 4.4 threes on 50%, that is what makes me want to take over 7.5 points.
Yeah. Sweet. I like that. I'm tailing that one. I like that one. I'm gonna write that one.
And I do want to give a shout out to Prop the Mic. Go follow them if you haven't. They have a whole list of matchups.
I saw that.
If you join our Discord.
Yeah.
They are amazing because I didn't know that Atlanta ranks 9th against forwards in scoring and 12th in 3 points.
So that
only makes this prop so much more lucrative. Atlanta doesn't allow a lot of crazy 3-point percentage.
Yeah.
But they do allow teams to score or take about 25.2 a game.
Yeah. I like that.
So 31 minutes. Clark has hit the 75%. It's too good. She's 80% for the last 5, 70% in the last 10 going back to last season. I love her in the corner 3. She does a lot more than that. And she's such an underrated defender. So give me Alicia Clark over 7.5 points tonight for -120.
I like it. That's solid. That's beautiful. Well, actually, you know what? I'm -120, you said?
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm taking that. 100% I'm taking that. I'm going to go over to New York now. We're going to New York. This one I liked. This one, see, I now I stuck with my matchups. This is my
I love it. I love that.
But
you have to look at matchups.
This one I went with Breanna Stewart over 8.5 rebounds. She's been a force this season. She is
I was looking at that too.
I have 2 props for her actually tonight. 8.5 rebounds. She's hit in 4 of her last 7 games. The game that she didn't hit, she did play lesser minutes. She played 30 minutes, and she did play the Fever, which I saw. The matchup wasn't incredible for her. It was good, but wasn't incredible. Now she plays Washington, who is the second worst rebounding team in the league. So I have her with her great matchup. I have her hitting over 8.5 rebounds, and I actually sprinkled for a double-double for her tonight. So
I got Jonquel Jones with a double. For
I was gonna do that too, but I was trying to find
I think either or.
I like both. Honestly, I said, you know what? If I'm gonna go with Stewie already with 9, I said 4-10 already. She hits the exact same. So for 8.5 or for 9 rebounds, she's 4 for 7. For 10 rebounds, she's 4 for 7. Yep. Same thing. Bad matchup. I have no concern with Breanna Stewart getting 10 points. It's actually plus 110.
Really? Yeah. Okay. I mean, you still got plus money there.
Yeah,
so.
plus money for Breanna Stewart. All we need is that extra board. Love the matchup. So I have Breanna Stewart for the double today. Over 8.5 rebounds and a double-double.
Love that. I mean, I like that. And listen, I love Jonquel Jones, and I hit her for double-double at 210. But she gets in. It depends if she gets in foul trouble. And we saw that going into the playoffs last season. And I think with Shakira Austin coming back, that might be they have a little bit more bodies now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like that. I'm gonna tell that.
I like that.
I trust Stewie a little bit more in avoiding foul trouble.
Yeah, I saw Jonquel. I was looking. To be honest, I got burned 2 times with Jonquel Jones this season on rebounds because of foul trouble. So, the 2 games that she got 5, coincidentally, those are the 2 games I bet on her. So I said, you know what? I'm not gonna jinx her tonight. So I'm gonna you take her. I'm not gonna press the button because if I press the button, she's gonna have 5 fouls and then everybody loses. So I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm going somewhere else today.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, with Sandy Brundell, listen, I love the Liberty. I cover them a lot. I go to a lot of the games. I could not understand for the life of me why in that last matchup they weren't utilizing Jonquel Jones in the paint and why they were just allowing New York to shoot 11 missed straight 3-pointers.
That's crazy.
I love Sabrina, but it was just like miss. I mean, it was like 11 or 12, and I'm like, feed Jonquel Jones.
I know.
So for me, it's just like, does it come down to do I trust the coaching sometimes?
Yeah, it's true because on a night like that, especially when you're not shooting down deep, give it to your bigs. Let them work.
JJ's a beast. She's going to beat anyone 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, she's 6'6". She is a beast. Yeah, she's a beast. I always take her rebounds, but out of respect for you, I'm not touching her line today, and we're going to let her cook. Don't. If she hits, then...
Please don't.
I don't want to fade. I'm not fading. I don't want you to fade.
All right. All right. All right. My second and last prop of the day, we're going to avoid Kelsey Plum. I was going to get on her 3s, but we are going to just avoid that entirely tonight. Yeah. I had Ryan Howard over 2.5 assists on FanDuel for, I believe, 182, and it looks like that hasn't really come down or changed, which is crazy because I feel like that should be way more juice than it is. Yeah. It's juice, and that's fine. But I like this. She's hit this in 80% of the season. She's had 4, 5, 4. She's heavily involved in that offense. By the way, I love Tina Charles there.
Oh yeah.
Chelsea Gray, I think, is a game time. Oh, where am I looking at? Chelsea Gray. Okay. Yeah. Chelsea Gray is she a game time decision? I thought she was out.
Let me check. I'll check for you.
Sorry, something just caught my eye while I was trying to make a point.
No, it's okay.
Is she questionable? Sorry, I just saw that in the corner of my eye. I'm gonna have to restart that prop.
Chelsea Gray is.
She is a game time.
She's a toss-up to play. Possibly she might play.
That just cut. We're gonna start all over again because that caught my eye.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Cool. I don't know if she. So Tiffany Hayes is gonna play today.
Tiffany Hayes is very likely to play. Chelsea Gray.
That might affect my Alicia Clark.
It might, yeah.
We're riding with it.
Chelsea Gray is a toss-up. Kirsten Bell's a toss-up, and Tiffany Hayes is playing. The aces are getting healthy.
I mean, you can't expect Tiffany Hayes to probably come in the system first game, and
That's true. That's a good point. But for
I just saw that, so I had
it's better you saw it now because Chelsea Gray, that changes a lot.
Wow. Okay, well, I'm still gonna stick with it. Ryan Howard over 2.5 assists and FanDuel, like I said, it juiced a little bit at 182. Is hitting 3 straight games, 80% in the season. I like her. She's very involved heavily in this offense. Like I said, I love Tina Charles, UConn favorite, legend on this team. Atlanta ranks 5th in assists. They're not like at the top tier this year, but they have a lot of talent.
Yep.
And they average about 20 assists per game. So they face a very, very good Aces team. They don't entirely shut down passing lanes. They do allow about 19.6 assists per game, but considering how Howard averages 3.6 assists per game, again, this prop is way lower, a little disrespectful to me. And I'm trying to find these lines that are just lower and find them at okay value. I mean, I guess 182 is a little bit higher. That probably will go up. I love the volume on it. She's playing over 33 minutes on the floor, which I love about that.
Yep.
And the Aces give up the 5th most assists to guards,
Love
averaging
it.
and she's averaging 3 steals alone. So defensively, Howard is a menace on the defensive end, great two-way player, could get some opportunities in transition. And she has a lot of talent to pass to this year. And Atlanta's kind of building that case to be a very up-and-coming team. So she's got an 86% hit rate when she hits when she hits the minute. So Ryan Howard, over 2.5 assists. Cook it, book it.
Love it. Love it. I like that. Beautiful. Look at this. I like honestly, I'm locking everything in today. We're on the same wavelength for everything. I like it. This is great. This is great. Great props today. Love it. Love it. Love it.
All right. So if you guys want to tail those, again, do not put your mortgage on it. We always do like 1 to 2% of our bankroll management. We're going to be getting into some educational stuff. But again, make sure you follow us on Juice Reel or join our Discord, because our Discord has a bunch of options where you can tail, where you can fade, winning section. Make sure you join that. And also shout out to props.cash. We are partnered with them. It's a great tool to get accurate, fast data. Use the code BIL to get 25% off your first month subscription.
Beautiful.
So before we kind of wrap up, I know you wanted to talk about some of our surprises in the WNBA and some teams and some players, and we can just talk a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be betting wise, just like from a
personal viewing standpoint. Yeah. So honestly, my question for you, not only that, instead of picking a team, what player to you either surprised you or is exceeding expectations that you've been keeping an eye on this season and you love to see develop going forward? Any player.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, there's a bunch. I mean, we could talk about Enrique and Collier Copper over in Phoenix, but for me, it's got to be Dearica Hamby.
Oh my gosh.
I love to see what she's doing. She's averaging over 20 points a game. She's coming back from that whole maternity, is a mother, and it's very hard to balance this game and be a mother in this sport. And to see her doing the things that she's doing, even last night, I mean, averaging kind of like a double machine.
Yeah.
But her field goal attempts are up. Her shots are great. I mean, when you look at the way she's been playing, even defensively, I mean, Dearica Hamby's like top 6 right now in points, and could be a sneaky MVP candidate. But yeah, I always knew Dearica Hamby was a very, very talented player. We saw her with the Aces, and it was unfortunate what happened there. But I love seeing her flourish in Kurt Miller's system, and not only speaking for the numbers, but she could be a great mentor to Cameron Brink, or even Rakia Jackson, which, by the way, I love the two of them together. And, the Sparks are going to struggle. We saw that last night against the Chicago Sky.
Yeah.
But if you look at Dearica Hamby, she's averaging, 20.6 points per game, over 41% from the 3-point line, 1.6 steals per game. And she's killing it on the rebound. She's averaging, I think, over 12 rebounds per game.
It's insane.
I mean, I think that's like second in the league.
Yeah, it is.
So my eye is on her.
I like that.
And I love what she's doing, and it makes me extremely happy to see her come back, off of maternity leave, and to see her not only crushing it, but be in the top 5, top 6, and especially in the MVP conversation.
I like it. I really like that choice. Honestly, I had her PRAs like a couple of days ago, and she crushed the line. Absolutely crushed the line. She's been balling. Now, I'm gonna stick on the theme of the same team. Keep it in the Sparks. I'm gonna go with Cameron Brink. The reason why, honestly, her foul trouble has concerned me just a little bit. She's been getting her fouls
early. It always
early.
has.
Yeah, which it's okay, but for someone that age as a rookie to come in and be already a dominant defender is impressive. It's
impressive.
I'm not saying it's easy. You get all the media attention for the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, all the best scorers, they're always going to get the coverage. But when it comes down to it, the game I was impressed the most, her last game, was versus the Aces, where she had a big
and that's huge. That's
stand.
saying something.
That's saying something. If you have a big defensive stop, she's second in the league in blocks, almost 3 a game. If she cleans up her foul trouble, she's still a rookie. It's still going to come with time.
Is she averaging over 3 a game? I thought it was like 3.2.
Yeah, she just went under because last game.
Because last game she didn't play a lot of minutes.
But she was over 3 blocks a game. She was leading the league in blocks per game. Up there with Ezzy. She's dominant on the defensive side. She's shown glimpses of her offensive game in a couple games this season where she was pulling up from 3. It was impressive. I think if she fine-tunes her offensive game a little bit, she gets the ball a little bit more, cleans up her foul trouble a little bit, I think she could be a force in the league. And considering, listen, when you get drafted in the top 3, you're not playing on the Aces. You're not playing on the Liberty. No. You're playing on a team that has struggled, isn't great. You know, they're probably going to be another lottery pick. But yeah, Cameron Brink is been impressive. And I'm looking on the defensive side of the ball rather than the offensive side of the ball. And I think the Sparks, with due time, maybe one more draft class, maybe pick up a good free agent, I think they could be a great team. They can get back to where they were. Hamby, Cameron Brink in your front court, like, that's pretty impressive. They're gonna look good. Rakia Jackson, like, they're gonna just get better. I'm sure when free agency comes around, if Team C, they have 2 young talents there. It'd be a no-brainer for especially for a guard or something to join the Sparks in the offseason. But I have Cameron Brink impressed me so far.
Yeah, and to feed off of that a little bit, when Rebecca Lobo was on the Zoom call earlier, they talked about the Caitlin Clark effect, but she really kind of dove deep into the Angel Reese and the Cameron Brink effect and how she looks so pro ready. And if she can stay out of foul trouble, she could play 4 out, the 5 out. And I think it really speaks volumes that not only Caitlin Clark is selling out venues, but so is the Sparks. They're moving to bigger arenas, and so is Angel Reese. So with from the gist that I got, being part of all these Zoom interviews and things like that, is I think her offensive game has translated, I think, quicker than Kurt Miller has ever thought.
I agree.
Yeah. So it's just exciting to see. I love that. I love that you brought that up.
I love a quote that I read on your Twitter this morning, actually, where it was, the W is growing as a league. Like, the metrics are there, but this rookie class was so special. It's like the accelerant. It's the fire. Like,
it's the fire.
It's to light it a little bit more. Like, has the league been steadily growing every year? Yes.
Yes. 100%.
The fact that this rookie class is like, I read that he said it like, let's just say every year the growth is 10% or whatever. This year almost is like 30. So it's like, it's just the fire to light the league up. And then going forward now, there'll be more, coverage on the rookies. It's just the draft class in general, I should be impressed with. Like,
and they're all performing. There's not one where I'm like, wow.
Caitlin Clark's been picking it up. Angel Reese has been a beast on the boards. Cam Brink's been looking great defensively.
And even Rakia Jackson. Her field goal percentage is amazing.
But I do want to say Cardoso yet too, right? She's still injured.
Yeah,
right?
she is active tomorrow, I believe.
Oh, nice.
So that's going to give Chicago a lot of size because
huge.
I think what Rebecca Lobo was saying, their biggest player, I think, is Angel Reese at 6'3", 6'4". So adding 6'7" will give them a teaspoon a lot of.
That's serious. I like it.
But I do want to say shout out to Kate Martin. And this is no disrespect to Kate Martin.
Yes.
When I was at the WNBA draft, I knew Kate Martin was there to support Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
I do not think she even thought that she was going to be drafted or she wanted an opportunity.
Yes.
So shout out to her. One thing I will say, it was sad for me to see Deja Fair cut from the Aces. It sounds like her defense just didn't fit in with Becky Hammond's system, and I hope somebody picks her up because she's like the 3rd leading scorer, and I think in D1 history. So she's a bucket getter. But Kate Martin, I mean, she looks pretty good on both sides of the court. She's promising. She fits the system.
Yeah.
She does what she has to do. She's a great fit off that bench.
I like it. She balled out that one game. She had 3 threes.
Yeah.
And she didn't play that much. And she right away, she was, you know what? And I, as I'm watching even just basketball more, that if I can notice you right away, you're standing, everybody else will notice you right away. If you're standing out, like make a big defensive stop. She made a big defensive stop, got a steal, went the other way, hit a 3 in the corner. I'm already like, damn, who's this? Like, and she did it to me twice that game, and I was like, okay, like I like that. She's easy to cheer for.
Yeah,
she's easy to cheer for. I like her Do you ever see on like Instagram or whatever, like they post like the WNBA, like the Aces huddle, like pregame, and you see her, she's having a good time. Like
she was like the first one in the huddle.
Yeah, she's cool. She's definitely easy to root for.
But yeah, you can tell that Lisa Bluder kind of prepped her because you played in the national championship back to back. That's a sleeper pick for me.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they got her so late as they did, I mean, that's
a great pick.
Great job by the Aces. So real quick before we wrap up, is there any team this year that is kind of surprising you? If not, we can kind of skip it.
Yeah. Surprising me is probably, let me see. The Sun. I know the Sun are 6-0, but I'm not surprised. They've been a great team. I think I'm gonna go with the Lynx actually.
Mm-hmm. Who are ranked 9th, by the way, coming into the season.
Yeah, like they honestly, not because of just standings, but Collier and Kayla McBride. I swear when she's on, she might be the hottest player in the WNBA. When she's
and that's why they extended her. She's really good.
So she is just a bucket. They've been offensively, they've been just a force this season. I think everybody else is kind of, the Mystics are struggling, the Fever are struggling, the Sparks are struggling. I think we kind of expected it, but the Lynx, when they're on offensively, they've been great. Napheesa Collier obviously leads the charge. She's a beast.
I think she's going to be an MVP candidate. We'll talk about that probably another show and the odds.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm going to go with the Lynx. I know it's still it's been only 6 games they've played, but I'm gonna 6 games. They've looked good in those 6 games. They lost to the Sun by 1 point in OT.
By 1 point.
That's impressive already.
I was part of those interviews of all 12 teams before the season, and Cheryl Reeve literally said, like, it's so disrespectful. Cheryl Reeve's the head coach. She literally said, I have it on record. She literally said, like, who put us 9th?
Yeah.
I don't know how they were ranked 9th, but
they took the Sun, who were absolutely just dominant this season, defensively too, to overtime to lose by 1 point. If you think about it, that goes either way. They're now 5-1.
They dominated the Liberty.
yeah, they're looking good. That's my early choice. What about you? Any team you like or?
I love that. For me, it's got to be the Chicago Sky. I know it's early. And by the way, I just want to say, like, I truly feel for the Indiana Fever, like starting their first. I mean, some of these teams haven't even played like 5 or 6 games, and Indiana Fever have like the first 7 out of 12 games, like right off the rip.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's a grueling time for the Indiana Fever. I just want to say, like Caitlin Clark playing like 40 minutes last night. Like, these players have to be exhausted. We'll talk about that a little.
Yeah, she's definitely exhausted
later on. But, talk about a team that, in my opinion, didn't have an identity last year. They had multiple head coaching. Teresa Witherspoon comes in, and it's like she changed the culture in Chicago. They're 3-3. They're 4-2 against the spread this year. I mean, I literally at the season, I'm like, I think they're going to be one of the worst in the league.
Yeah.
But when you look at the backcourt between Kennedy Carter, who's got a second chance, who's very explosive and fast in transition, and you look at Dana Evans, a really good backcourt. She's been great. But you look at also Marina Mabry, who's been a really sharpshooter, Elizabeth Williams, who had like 4 blocks last night. And then you add Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso.
I know.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. This future is great for this team.
And they haven't even been unleashed yet because she's been injured. Now, I want to see how she's playing. Obviously, it might take her a game or 2 to get involved with the action because, everybody's been starting. But, that's a good one. I actually like that one too.
For me, it's going to be a little bit of question is how are they going to space the floor? I mean, I know that Angel Reese is expanding her mid-range, but besides Camila Cardoso hitting that 3-pointer against Tennessee for the SEC, I think, championship or whatever the game that was, I question the spacing and how that is going to work. But if there's anybody I trust, Liberty legend Teresa Witherspoon, I've met her. She's amazing. Yeah. You just feel her presence when you see her. And like she's got it, and it's getting these players to buy in. Yeah. So that's a team to look out for.
I like it. I like that choice.
Yeah. So that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This week we'll get in another episode about the NBA and hockey playoffs. Yep. We'll have some segments for that. Mm-hmm. So, all right, Mr. Awesome. Mavs in 6.
Mavs in 6. Guys, thank you for listening again. Remember, join the Discord. We've been absolutely cooking in there. Everybody's hitting insane slips every night. It seems like we turn on your phone and you just see somebody's going crazy in there. So yeah, remember, join the Discord. We always appreciate you watching. It's a great time.
Appreciate
great
you
episode.
guys. And make sure you follow Looch and I on all socials and Boa's Live Bets.
Yes. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
All right. Peace out.
Peace.